Many thanks for rejoining us again on the program Good Morning Abuja, showing right now and right here only on the Unity Station NTA Channel 5. Now we all know the importance of peace and living together. When we live together peacefully, we achieve a lot of development. And every 16th of May is celebrated as International Day of Living Together in Peace. And that is why we are here to celebrate and talk about peaceful living. Help me welcome Ambassador of Palestine, Abdallah Abu-Shawish, to the program this morning. Abdallah, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me today for your very important program.
Yes, you're welcome. You know, peace is very vital to our existence, and the importance of living together peacefully can never be overemphasized. Now, talk to us about the significance of living together peacefully.
Thank you so much again for taking me today.
Okay.
Let me just take you back a little bit. 5 years ago, when I was in the United Nations, when we discussed as a international community or international or UN family at that time, we discussed the resolution which talk about living together in peace, and we adopted in the General Assembly the resolution 72/130. It was on January 15 to celebrate every May, 16 May, the day of living together in peace. Indeed, when we talk about peace, directly we should connect it to the development, and peace and development is something that could not be separated from each other. Peace is the vital thing, the vital element for our life. Without peace, we will not feel any security in our life. We will not gain anything, or we will not reach any future. So that peace is the very important element for our humanity, that have been said. Not only the international community, but everywhere in the world, we should work together to maintain and to make sure that we have a sustainable peace. To do so, justice and fairness should be dominating everywhere. So that justice is the vital way to peace. And once we talk about justice, this takes us to another very important discussion, which is justice cannot be achieved without peace. Without peace, and justice cannot be achieved without the implementation of the international law and the humanitarian international human law.
Now, as an ambassador, how do you see the role of international cooperation and diplomacy in promoting peaceful coexistence among nations?
Again, another very important question. Indeed, without international cooperation, we will not reach any significant goals of our, which is a sustainable goal, that we work together to make sure that all of us is reaching it. So that the cooperation is very important, especially the cooperation is a very deep in the history. When the international trade was started very long time ago. It was built on the cooperation between the nations. It was built on the relative advantage. What did you produce in Nigeria, which is, and you have a relative advantage in producing it, you're going to exchange it with another country. So that the cooperation is a deeply entrenched in the human being itself. So that, and you know, by the time, and we learn from the lesson, from the war lesson, then till we reach to establish after the World War II, we established the United Nations. The United Nations is really accomplished a significant steps on the issue of the international cooperation. And on top of that, of course, in 2015, the United Nations was gathering all the nations, 195 states was gathered in 2015 to discuss and to negotiate what's so-called the 2030 agenda, with it is a very important 17 Sustainable Development Goal, 169 targets that have been said. All of these goals and targets cannot be achieved, cannot be implemented without the international cooperation, cannot be achieved, cannot be implemented without the transform of technology. And to do so, we need a peaceful environment that allow us to exchange, to allow us to exchange the experience, to allow us to trade together, to allow us to learn from each other how to implement our sustainable goals. So that again, when we talk about peace, talk about the environment of peace, which is the vital have a vital role to implement the sustainable development. And when we talk about the sustainable development, or the development itself is, or the human development itself is, which is the ultimate goal for everyone, for every government worldwide.
Okay, now in maintaining this peace that we are talking about, it's not without challenges. Now, what are some of the challenges that countries face in achieving a peaceful and inclusive society, and how can we work together to overcome them?
This is a very complicated question and very deep question, and you need a PhD to answer it. But let me just spotlight on our case as a Palestinian, which is a well-known case. To achieve the peace, this means we should have a justice. To achieve the peace, the international law should be applicable of all over every single country in this world. But unfortunately, in our case, the international law is not applicable. The Israeli occupation is still, or the Israel itself is still believe that they are above the international law, beyond, and have full immunity from the Western country in general. But again, every country have it is specific. Back to the general now, from the private issue to the general picture, every country had its own challenges, and every country have its own tools to deal with the issue, so that they can develop, because you cannot apply one of the main obstacles to the development long time ago, or what did they call it, the MDGs at that time in 2000, was some group of experts from the United Nations was put to us in Nigeria, in Palestine, in everywhere, put to us that goals and the target that we should go to implement it. Then after 15 years, we discovered that this is not the right way. We should discuss by ourselves. Every country should discuss by itself the means, the tools that they need to implement their or to achieve their goals. So that you're going to find Africa, for example, African continent, for example, have their own challenges, so that they create their on sustainable development, which called 2063, which is the African countries gathering together, discuss it, build on their own challenges, build on their own experience and their relative advantages, build the goals and the plan that they're gonna take it to secure, or to at least to achieve part of their ultimate goal.
Thank you so much. Now, how can individual communities and governments promote tolerance, understanding and respect for diversity in their respective societies?
Yes, indeed, the local communities have playing a vital role in promoting peace and promoting peace and sustaining peace and securing peace inside the countries itself. Without to do so, should be a tolerance. We are, as a human being, we are different. Everyone is different from the other. If we concentrate on our differences and ignore the majority of the issue that gathering us, we will find ourselves at all, we will not reach the harmony with peace. But if we learn ourselves, learn our child, then the new generation to be tolerant enough to accept the changes and to accept the difference, to accept the others. This is very important. And I think, again, and back to your question, the religious leaders, the political leaders, tribe leaders, every leaders in every country can play a vital role if they believe of tolerance, if they believe of the shared future, so that they can do something significant in this particular issue.
Okay, thank you so much. And this one is taking me to my next questions. What are some of the successful examples of countries that have achieved a peaceful and inclusive society, and what lessons can be learned from them?
I think it's not country. When after World War II, I'm gonna take you 70 years ago. After during the World War II, Europe was destroying each other. Europe country was destroying each other, was bombing each other. It was a big massacre in the history. Then they discovered after the war, when the war was ended, then they discovered that this is not the right way, with all their differences. And if you look to the socio-political map on Europe, you're going to find a lot, tens of thousands of, or hundreds of differences among each other. But then they accepted these differences. They learned from they learned the lesson, and they started a great issue today. The European Union is something significant. Anyone was if we back on the history 7 years ago, and to talk about, I will not name any country, but there is a cooperation between X and and Y country. It will not be imagined that it will happen. But today, if you look to Europe, they give us a great example of living together, tolerance, harmony with harmony, of course, with nature, then the peace itself.
Okay, thank you so much. You know, in accepting our differences, like you said, now let's relate it to technology. Let's now relate it to technology. How can we use technology to promote peace and combat hate speech, especially online?
Great. Technology is one of the significant tools to take us to the future, but also it's a sword with two very sharp edges, so that technology, with all the benefits that we gain today from technology, but also technology, especially the social media, you're going to find a lot of hate speech in the social media. You're going to find a lot of incitement, a lot of unlawful criticism, and they are distributing a lot of fake picture and other issue. I think this is another point that we need as international community, might be led by the United Nations itself. And I gotta take you all the time to the United Nations because I have a good experience there. So that we need to put it on the table and to start discussing how to fight the hate speech, which is very important and very significant. Without fighting the hate speech, you cannot talk about tolerance. Without fighting the hate speech on the social media, you cannot talk about future peace. There is a lot of tools, and again, this take me back to the your previous question. There is a lot of religious leaders in the worldwide can play a significant role of this issue, because all the hate or the majority of the hate speech, or significant portion of the whole, significant percentage of the hate speeches came from religious people, or depends on the religion to incite it against the other. Again, technology can play a vital role to take us to the right side or to the left side. So far, we have many things to work together on the technology issue to make sure that all the logarithm of the hate speech, we're gonna fight it by programming, and this is one of the solutions. But again, the main solution should come from the leaders in the societies, in different societies. We should sit together. We should talk to each other. We should accept our differences. We should accept it. Without it, differences is very natural issue.
It's
Without
natural.
differences, we will not have to be developed. So that we should accept it, our colors, our different in colors, our different religion, our different differences in political opinion. All of these differences should be acceptable from us. Otherwise, we will find ourselves fighting each other, and no one will win this game. All of us is loser by the end of the day.
Okay. You know, we are celebrating International Day of Living Together in Peace. Now, what message do you have for the global communities? You know, it's very important.
Oh, many messages.
Yes.
But the main message that I will insist on it and will going to repeat it once and again is we should accept our differences.
Okay.
We should accept that we are not identical, we are not homogeneous. We have our environment that we are born and raised in it, and this environment is learn us and make us different. We should accept it, that we should accept it to live with each other. We should accept it to live with harmony with nature again. It's very important. Without harmony with nature, you cannot talking about peace. You cannot celebrate any event related to the peace issues. Another one very important issue, I used to use it in my life, the human being is identical in 70%. I'm very optimistic, so that I used to say we are identical in 70% in our, but there is another 30%. We will not be identical on it. We will not agree on it. If we agree on 70%, let us concentrate on this 70%. Why you gonna take me only to the 30% that we will not, under any circumstance, we will not agree on it?
Going with your experience and what you've gone through, you're now, we can really see that you're the right person to talk to us about living together peacefully.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
and at this point, I do really want to appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
That you took to come talk to us about the need to stay together peacefully, because with peace, we know we'll achieve a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your
time. Thank you so much. Thank
All
you so
right.
much. Thank you so much for taking me, and thank you so much for all your followers and the viewers.
Okay. Yes, I have been speaking with Ambassador Abdallah Abu Shawish. He is the ambassador of Palestine, and together we looked at the need to celebrate living together peacefully. And going with his experience, he has told us that there is a need to stay together peacefully, because with peace, we will achieve a lot. Now the program continues. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.